Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. Pushpalata Katham. Now I am going to talk about the textile fibers and their classification. So, what is textile? Textiles is a material which is made up of by the fibers. So, fiber is the basic element of the unit. So, now how the fibers are converted into the fabrics. So, fiber is the basic element of the fabric. With the help of the spinning process, yarn will be formed. So yarn will undergo for the fabric construction methods like weaving, knitting. There are many other fabric construction methods. With the help of these construction methods, fabric is going to made. Now I will show you one example image. So from fiber to the consumer, how it will reach us. So if you observe this, so fiber is a basic element of the fabric. Fibers we get it from the plants, animals, chemicals and mineral sources. I will talk about these things in detail later. But now coming to this slide, so fiber, from the fiber we are going to the next stage is spinning process. The spinning can be again mechanical, chemical, hand spinning process. So with the help of the spinning process, it is going to make a yarn. So yarn will go for the any one kind of the fabric construction process. Woven, knitted. So why woven and knitted is mentioned because those two are the major production process which are involved in the fabric making. The other things like non-wovens, felts, braids, laces, so that is minorly used than the woven and knitted fabrics. So with the help of the fabric construction process, we are going to get the unfinished fabric. So unfinished fabric means which we directly get it from the loom. So unfinished fabric also we call it as the grey cloth. So the grey cloth again it will go to the textile mills for the finishing process. Like there are many finishes will be given to at this stage like temporary finishes, permanent finishes, tentering, calendaring. So like that finishes will be given to the fabric, even printing, everything will be done during this finishing process. After that the finished fabric will come into the market. So we can get the fabric directly in the market. So we can also get the commercial textile products in the market to the consumers directly. So the fabric form also we can go for the customization process. The finished products like it may be for the suitable for the apparels, it may be for home furnishings, upholstery materials, it can be of anything. It will be available to the consumers with the help of the retailers. So this is the process how the fiber will come to the market as a apparel or as a textiles. In this class, we are going to learn in detail about the classification of the textile fiber. What are those fibers and how it will classify. So if we see this slide, the class fibers will be classified based on the source. That means from where we are going to take that particular fibers. The second one is based on its length, the length of the fiber, because based on the length the suitability will be differs. So now I will show the classification of the fibers. Now we will see the textile fiber classification based on their source. That means from where we are going to get it. Like we get the textile fibers from the natural sources, man-made sources and synthetic sources. Like from the vegetable sources, animal sources and mineral sources. So from the man-made sources like cellulosic based fibers, protein based fibers, mineral fibers. So natural fibers directly we get it in the nature, it can be cultivated. But in case of the man-made fibers, it has to be generated in the laboratory and industry. The synthetic fibers are also similarly it will be generated in the laboratory. So if we observe the natural fibers like seeds, bast fibers, leaf fibers, husk fibers. If we see the animal sources like hair will be used, like wool which comes from the sheep. So furs will be used and silk. Silk is also animal protein fiber. And from the mineral sources, the asbestos is the best example of the mineral sources. If we go to the man-made sources, from the man-made, the cellulosic bases like regenerated and modified regenerated rayon fibers. From the protein sources, soya fibers. From the mineral sources like gold, silver, glass, there are many mineral sources are there. If you observe the synthetics are polyester, nylon, acrylic, spandex and tencel. So now we will see in detail about these things. So coming to the natural fibers. So natural fibers are further divided into three categories. As I said, it will be based on the vegetable. Also we can call it as the cellulosic fibers. The other one is the animal sources, which we call it as the protein fibers. The last one is mineral fibers. So from the vegetable, where we get it? So the name itself indicates the fibers are obtained from the vegetable sources like plants, and cellulosic matter is the base for all this kind of the fibers. So this category includes the most of the textile fibers like cotton, which makes up the nearly 50% of the total fibers used in the world. So in terms of the weight, so it is considered as the major fiber. So the other fibers which we get it from the natural sources like vegetable fibers like linens, jute, pineapple, we call it as the minor fibers. There are many animal based fibers are available in the market, but only two fibers got recognition as a major fibers. As we all know, wool is the one of the major textile fiber, the other one is the followed by the silk. But these proportions not in terms of the weight but in terms of the market value. So market value will be more for these two fibers. It is recognized as a major fibers. But there are other minor fibers are also there in the animal based fibers like mohair, cashmere, angora and camel hair. So now I will talk about these minor animal fibers in detail. So angora fiber, angora which comes from the rabbit hair will be used as a fiber which is very soft silk like yarn will be produced from the angora rabbit. The next one is the cashmere. Cashmere is the finest goat wool which is very strong and light and soft. So coming to the camel hair, camel also will be used for the producing the luxurious jackets. The next one is the mohair. Mohair we get it from the Angora goat. So don't get confused for the Angora goat and Angora fiber. The Angora fiber we get it from the rabbit, but Angora goat produces the mohair fiber. The next one is the mineral fiber. So asbestos is the best example for the mineral fiber. It contains many elements like silicates, magnesium, calcium, iron, aluminium and other minerals. So because of that it is acid proof, rust proof, flame proof, and also uh, its usage is declined due to the health risks because it is producing the asbestos dust. So coming to the next category is the man-made fibers. These refers to those fibers that are not naturally present in nature but are synthesized. So coming to the cellulosic based. So these are produced from the natural polymers like cellulose that is obtained from the wood. So again these are divided into further categories like regenerated fibers, modified regenerated fibers. So coming to the regenerated fibers, so it is the product of cellulose. It is dissolved in the sodium hydroxide and viscose solution. So it is extruded through the spinneret into dilute H2SO4. So coming to the modified regenerated, the raw material is also a cellulose, but these fibers are modified chemically so that the polymer can be dissolved in the organic solvent and extruded in the hot water which evaporate the solvent. So coming to the protein fibers. Protein fibers are made from the protein based sources like soya bean. Ajlan is the best example for the protein fiber. So coming to the mineral fibers. The mineral fibers are the glass, steel, carbon, so which are found for the industrial uses. Like glass is used for the low cost reinforcement and plastic for the ships and cars and thermals and electrical insulations. So steel is reinforced rubber in tires and belts for the filters where chemical resistance is very important. So carbon filters are also used where the high performance is required like aircraft parts, tennis and squash rackets. So these kind of applications will be used by the mineral fibers. So coming to the synthetic fibers. What are the synthetic fibers? So the term synthetic means that the polymer is entirely man-made from the chemicals. So these group fibers properties are depend upon their chemical composition and kind of the molecular orientation. So this group includes the major fibers and minor fibers. So the major is the nylon and polyester, acrylic. So these three are the major fibers. Here in this image, I have by mistakenly given viscose. It is a nylon. The middle image is the nylon. So now we'll move on to the textile fiber classification based on their length. So previously we have learned about the textile fiber classification based on their origin, from where we are getting it. But now we have to know about the based on its length. So whatever the fiber we are getting, we get it in different lengths. So the short ones we call it as the staple fiber, the long ones we call it as the filament fibers. So natural fibers are short in length fibers which measures from the 3 by 4 inches to 18 inches. So except silk, other natural fibers are the staple fibers. Man-made fibers are also made it into filament but can be cut into short staple lengths for the particular end uses. So coming to the filament fibers. So filament fibers are the long fibers. Those are measured in the yards or meters. So that means it can be of very big length. So the next one is the silk and all man-made and synthetic fibers are all the filament fibers. So based on the length also it can be categorized. So till now we have learned about the classification of the fibers. These are the reference books which I have followed. So if we go in detail about, there are different classifications are available. Classification of fibers based on their thermal sensitivity and latest developed fibers like novel fibers, bio-based fibers, recycled fibers, functional and smart fibers, alternative fibers, hybrid composite fibers. There are many fibers that are available in the market, but as a beginners like BSc students, the classification based on the source and based on the length will be more important.